Hello, happy Friday, everybody. It is the 12th of February and it's our last math session of the week. So let's get going. As usual, you're going to have your starter. You've got two problems here. One of them is similar to the previously done problem yesterday. So we've got some totaling and then some dividing to do. And the second one is again with some fractions and percentages. We're building on what we've done before. So pause the video, have a go at both of these. They're both gettable. There's no a real hard one in those ones, but you will need to think about them both, about how you need your answer to look. So pause it and have a go for me. Amazing. Let's move it on. So the first one, a school makes 50 sandwiches each day. The table shows the number of sandwiches sold each day last week. How many sandwiches in total were not sold last week? So it tells us 50 a day, and there are 5 days there. So first thing we do, 50 times 5 is 250. So our total number of sandwiches is 250. Then we need to work out how many were sold. So add all these figures together. So 20 add 32 add 47 add 18 add 39 is 156. And then to work out how many weren't sold, we take that away from the total that were made. So 250 take 156 equals 94. Second one, Tony, good old Tony, earns £600 a week. He says, I spend 3/10 of what I earn on rent for my house. He spends 20% of the amount remaining on a new coat. How much money does the coat cost? Right, so Tony earns £600 a week. He spends 3/10 on rent first thing. So 600 divided by 10 is 60, gives me 1/10. 60 times 3, the 3/10 is 180. So he spent £180 on rent. So we need to work out how much money he's got left before we do his coat. So 600 take 180 is 420. Then he spends 20% of the amount remaining on a new coat. Now I decided to find 1% and then times it by 20 to get it. You might have found 10% and then times it by 2. I did 420 divided by 100 gives me 4.2. And then that 4.2 for 1% times 20 is 84. You might have found 10%, so you might have done 420 divided by 10 to get 42 and then just doubled it. But £84 is what the coat cost. Today's learning intention is to read and interpret pie charts. This is why we looked at circles yesterday and the rules of the circle and the splits of the circle, because we're looking at pie charts today. Star words are circle, funnily enough. Fractions come into it. Data, we're going to interpret them and we're going to represent different bits of information on them. So a pie chart is a visual chart used to display data. They are circular in shape and are split into different sections, just like a pie is, hence why they're called a pie chart. Pie charts are usually shown in fractions or percentages. So here's a pie chart here. I've taken away the percentages and fractions because we're going to talk about those in a second. But you can already see maybe what the fractions might be. So this is a pie chart showing how 40 children travel to school. The blue section's cycling, the red section's walking, the green section's getting driven to school. It's really clear, really visual. We can see that walking was the most and cycling and the car were equal. You can make quick judgments on a pie chart just like that. Now, to work out how large each bit of a pie chart is, we use our previous learning of fractions. So here is a circle and we've split it. And we can see that blue portion, you fit 4 of them in the whole circle, so we know that's a quarter. The green section is exactly the same, so that's a quarter. And the red section is equal to 2 quarters, but we can simplify that to a half if we like. So then, to work out how many children did each, because it shows our 40 children traveled to school, we need to use what we learnt a couple of months ago about fractions of amounts. So to work out how many children cycle to school, we've got a quarter. There are 40 children. So I divide that 40 children and split them into 4. So I split them into a quarter, which is 10, and then I times that by the numerator. Now the numerator in this case is 1, so 10 times 1 is 10. So 10 children cycle to school. I could then work this one out, but it's exactly the same calculation. So 10 children, we can say again, get the car to school. We could then either work out the total of those two and take it away from the 40, or we could do the exact same method we've just done. So a half, 40 children divided by the denominator of 2 gives us 20, times that by the numerator of 1 is 20 still, so 20 children walk to school. Check our answer, 20, 10, and 10 gives us the 40 children. So all you do is take your total, divide it by the denominator, and then times that by the numerator, and that tells you the amount of that section. So here it's changed, it's showing 80 children now. So we know the percentages and fractions for a half and a quarter, but here it looks a bit different. We're missing 2 sections, so now we use percentages to help us out. The whole chart's worth 100%, and we currently have 75%. So we know there's 25% left over here, and these 2 pieces are equal in size. We've got 25% left over, and they're equal in size. There's 2 of them. We divide by 2. 25 divided by 2 is 12.5. That means that each of the 2 sections are 12.5% each. Now, those of you who are great with your fractions, you can see here, 2 of these make a quarter, so each of these is an eighth. Okay? Oh, sorry, it's 2/8. So you could be using your knowledge. I'm talking a load of rubbish, ignore me. Each one is 1/8 because that gives us a quarter, because 2/8 is a quarter. There we go. So you could use your fractions knowledge to know that those are an eighth, but if you don't, just use a percentage method. If, like me, you think that's 2/8 and ridiculous, use your percentages, because then you can actually do some division. So there we go. We've got 12.5% and 1/8 each. So now we can work out how many children did what. So walking, we had here, we had 1/2 of the children walk, or 50%. So I could have just divided through by 2, but I'm going to try and use the percentage method to show you for later on. So 80 divided by 100 gives me 1%, 0.8, and then I times that by whatever percentage I've got, times 50. So 0.8 times 50 is 40 children. Car, we've got a quarter, or 25%. I'm going to do exactly the same. 80 divided by 100, 0.8 to give me 1%, and then I'm going to times that by 25, gives me 20 children. Now, cycling. Cycling is 12.5%. So here, I've found 10%, I've found 1%, I've found 0.5%. So our 10% was 8, divided by 10 is 0.8, and then cut it in half for 0.5%. And this is going to use the building fractions of amounts method we learnt in school. So I've got 12.5%, so 10% goes here. I've got 2 lots of 1% to get me to 12, so 0.8, 0.8, and 1 lot of 0.5 here. Add them all together gives me 10, so I've got 10 children who cycle. And then this one, the taxi, is exactly the same size, so it's 10 children as well. So you might, you could have divided through by 100 and then times it by 12.5, but times in by decimal gets a bit messy. What I'd like you to do, none of them will be as tricky as that one we've just done. I would like you to go onto Mathletics and complete the pie charts activity you've been set, and then come back and we'll show you how you can use pie charts in a bit of problem solving. Give it a pause and off you go. Let's crack on. So straight away, I just want you to get on with it. Now, it is going to look annoying. It annoys me with my need for everything to be neat and tidy. But question 1 is here on the right hand side. That's because it fits better here. And question 2 is here. What I'd like you to do is I would like you in your home learning book to answer both questions. So there are 600 pupils at Copingham Primary School. Work out how many pupils travel to school by each of these using what we've just done. And then in a survey, people were asked what their favourite season of the year was. The results are shown below. 48 people voted for summer. How many people took part in the survey? So you're going to have to use some logic there. So have a go at them. Pause the video, have a go in your home learning books, and we'll go through answers. Good stuff, right. So the first one, 600 pupils, work out how many people travel to school by this. So here we go. there's 4 quarters here. Okay, so I'm going to divide by 4. Okay, so 600 divided by the 4. I'm looking at walk. Here's train. There's the yellow one. So here we know that's a quarter because 4 of those sections would fit. So we divide it by 4, and it's 1 quarter. So 600 divided by 4 is 150. Times by 1 is 150 children. I thought I was talking rubbish because this didn't fit. Car. So car, if you remember what the fraction was, it's 1/8. So 1/8 here, 600 divided by 8 is 75, times 1, 75 children. Cycling is 1/8 again, so 600 divided by 8 is 75, times it by the 1, because it's 1/8, is 75 children. And then here, we've got half of it shaded, so we do 600 divided by 2 is 300, we've got 1/2, so 300 times 1 is 300 children. Sorry, I get myself a bit confuddled in that, but there we go. Those are your answers for that one. And the second one. So the survey, people were asked what their favourite season was. The results are shown in the pie chart. 48 people voted for summer. How many people took part in the survey? So we know that 48 people liked summer, which is this yellow part. That is a quarter of the whole pie chart. So we can use that to work out how many people did it in total. So if that's a quarter, 1 quarter equals 48. So if we want to work out what the whole was, we times about 1 quarter by 4. So we times 48 by 4 for 192. So 192 people took part in the survey. That's how we got that answer. Now, to finish your week, on to TT Rockstars. Give it a practice, but 10 or 15 minutes if you can. And then you are done with maths for the week. Well done, and I will see you soon.